So we have an interesting article today. I don't know if this is cheerleading for the administration or if it's just somebody that doesn't really follow economic policy very well on housing or what, but I think that we should go over this and just kind of, I'll show you where the tell was for me that things were off the rails, and then we can go from there. So here it is. This was on, I believe it was businessinsider.com, and the headline, Biden's top economist says the key to ending the housing crisis is giving cities and developers monetary incentives to build more affordable homes. Now, if you're familiar with the stuff that I've put out and my beliefs, you know that I don't think that it's necessarily a supply issue. And the reason why I don't think it's necessarily a supply issue is how many Americans own more than one home. I also don't think that the definition of affordable housing is like what we think it is, meaning, oh, you could go afford to buy a house, and what the administration thinks would be the same thing. Now, I'm not saying this in the realm of being political, okay? So should there be another administration down the road that has a policy that's absolutely ridiculous, you know, I'll mention it. I don't have any interest in playing that particular game. So let's get to the article. I actually highlighted so much of it because it was so fascinating to see what's going on here. It says Americans aren't happy about the state of the economy. Consumer sentiment is low, and it may be getting even worse. That's despite a remarkable economic recovery since the pandemic thrust the country into a recession. We've managed to see inflation come down while maintaining low unemployment, something many economic experts said couldn't happen. So off the bat, the premise of the article, at least that I'm understanding, is hey, you know, things aren't so bad. Really, inflation isn't bad at all, and you should go about your day. It's going to get better. Now, so just so you know where I stand, inflation is a terrible tax on the poor. Inflation is eating our lunch. When I go to McDonald's, it was $7 or below $10 for a quarter pounder meal, and now it's like $13. That's ridiculous. Energy prices are going to be going up as of October 11th, 2023, which hasn't been really an issue for the last 2 years since the strategic reserve has been depleted. I just cannot believe. I don't even know where to begin with that. But let's continue. It says, I think it all comes down to inflation. So this is Jared Bernstein. He used to be on CNBC, used to be on Fox with Kudlow, and you know, I don't have any animus against him. He's a bright fellow. He says, I think it all comes down to inflation, Bernstein said during a Wednesday policy briefing at the Economic Policy Institute in Washington. I think it's about prices. I think we're trying to talk to people about disinflation, and what they really want is deflation. They want their old prices back. Damn it. So see, he's not dumb. It is in contrast to the beginning paragraph. I mean, it's absolutely, we've managed to see inflation come down while maintaining low unemployment, something many economic experts said couldn't happen. It's ridiculous. But let's continue. It says price growth has slowed in recent months, but broad price levels themselves are unlikely to fall without a deep, massively destructive recession. Okay, so let's just go. So inflation has slowed in recent months. Still ridiculous, but it's slowed. And then the broad price levels, so, you know, like the top line prices, they're unlikely to fall without a deep, massively destructive recession. Okay, well, I mean, then it goes on to a threat. If people knew how badly the economy would need to be doing to cause deflation, they might think otherwise, Bernstein added. So yeah, if we collapse the economy, we'll get the deflation, but you don't want that. You don't want that. You want to keep paying higher prices. I mean, it's bizarre to me. It says one cost that doesn't look as if it's coming down anytime soon is housing. Rent and home prices are through the roof, and housing affordability has reached record lows. Well, why is that? Why have we seen rising costs? Is it solely because of a shortage of supply? Does it not have anything to do with the massive amount of money printing the Fed has done for the past, 2 to 3 years? We knew that inflation was coming. That's what happens when you print a bunch of money and keep an artificially low interest rate. It says a severe housing shortage is the main culprit for steep housing costs. Now, see, this is directly opposed to what I think. It says the U.S. short is from anywhere between an estimated 1.5 million and 5.5 million homes. How many investors own homes? Single-family homes in the United States? More than 1 million. High interest rates are scaring off both would-be buyers and sellers and slowing rates of home building. And high mortgage rates haven't brought down home prices as much as expected, creating what Bernstein said was an interesting headwind for the economy. That's right. Housing is a huge portion of the economy, and it's not working the way it's supposed to because it's kind of broken. But I don't, like I said, so I don't agree that the severe housing shortage is an issue. High interest rates are more of a demand issue, okay? I mean, it can hurt supply in the sense that they can't build, right? But we're seeing massive amounts of units come online, right? So I don't really agree with this article at all. It says the government needs to step in, Bernstein says, because affordable housing is suffering from market failure. And my response to that would say the government has been involved in housing for the last 100 years, and this is what we have gotten. I mean, do you think that the government isn't stepping in when the Fed lowers interest rates? Massively lowered interest rates? The government has been stepping in the whole time. Do you think the government doesn't step in when they tell you what to build, where to build, and how they will finance it? Through Fannie and Freddie? I mean, it's like, okay, so the government is already involved, okay, but it says building affordable housing doesn't pencil out in the current economic environment, and we both agree with that. If you were a developer and you were going to develop a tract of land, why would you put any affordable housing units there? And this is different. Now, that would be set-asides, okay? Set-asides for affordable housing versus market-priced housing, okay, that would be affordable. And that's where I have the problem, okay? If you build a neighborhood and 200 of the houses are $500,000, okay, and you tell the developer you can build this as long as you build 10 homes that you sell for $150,000, okay? What do you think the size of those homes are going to be? And how do you think that fits in with an overall neighborhood? Got all these $500,000 houses, and then we've got 10 $100,000 houses. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. So this is problematic, but it says demand-side policies, which focus on subsidizing demand for housing, including rental assistance programs such as Section 8 vouchers, are important, Bernstein says, but the administration is very, very focused on the supply side. That means the government is more concerned with subsidizing an increase in supply to address shortages. So what they're saying is, okay, what the article is saying, well, we need to stimulate more demand for affordable housing being set-asides. So we should increase the number of Section 8 vouchers. But that does nothing for the cost of the actual cost of housing. Would do nothing. If anything, it'll make it more expensive. And says the administration being very, very focused on the supply side. Well, that's great. Okay, that's great. So what are they going to do, right? It says in May, Biden unveiled a housing supply action plan, which, I mean, it's October and I knew nothing about it, which doesn't mean anything. It's just maybe they're not getting their message out, which includes efforts to incentivize denser development and more affordable housing construction. Bernstein says the administration has two main strategies. Okay, what are the strategies? One is incentivizing local governments to eliminate exclusionary zoning, which often makes it illegal to build anything but single-family homes. Well, like zoning is a big topic, okay? Now, in the 1930s in St. Louis, okay, we had single-family homes mixed with multifamily homes with retail on the corners. They were bars and restaurants and things of this nature. You could walk to them. It was in the 1930s, okay? But we got away from that, right? Now you can all of a sudden only build single-family homes here, multifamily homes there. You could never mix the two with commercial. And even if you did, you'd have a terrible time with getting mortgages for the single-family homes. I mean, even during like the last downturn in housing, there had been, before then, people had converted huge old office space and commercial spaces to residential, okay, and then made the bottom floor commercial. And you would have a very, very hard time getting through either the square footage requirements for residential, for a mortgage in those condos, or the occupancy, because, see, nobody wants to buy expensive condos when there's no ability to buy them. And at that time, it was a tough time financing. So what you were having was a lot of rentals. And so if the rentals are more than 50%, I think it's even less than that. But if they're 50% or more, you can't get a single family mortgage in that condo. Really a mess. Really, they should really kind of look at that probably if they wanted to make some changes. But anyway, so that is one of the things. They're going to work to change zoning. And then he says, if you can get extra points in your bid to build a transportation hub under the bipartisan infrastructure law because you're putting affordable housing in that area, well, that seems to us like a pretty good deal, and that's exactly what we're doing. So what they're saying is, hey, we want you to build mass transit, okay? And then next to the mass transit, we want you to build affordable housing. And then we would be surprised by what happens in 10 years to the value of those properties. The second way Biden is working to lower housing costs is by helping developers with costs by expanding tax credits. Now look, tax credits are wonderful. If you have an opportunity zone, for instance, those are great, right? If it's identified as, I mean, it's great. I have no issue. But helping developers with cost by expanding tax credits, how does that work exactly? The low-income housing tax credit subsidizes purchasing, building, and renovating affordable housing, and it's broadly popular amongst a variety of interests. And I will give the article credit for that, okay? How much can you really do in this space that anyone's going to approve of? Not much. The answer is not much. So the only problem I have with the tax credits, okay, is you have to be profitable to worry about taxes. Low-income housing people like it. Bankers like it because they buy the credits and use them against their tax liability, and builders like it, so that's a nice triumvirate there. See, he's already said, look, people can use these credits to buy down other things, but that doesn't build the affordable housing. It doesn't actually get it built. So there we go, and it says, but the administration's efforts aren't enough. Right? Okay, so now watch this. Congress has failed to pass larger grants that Biden has proposed to get rid of single-family zoning. Experts say the federal government needs to be much more aggressive in rewarding and punishing state and local governments based on their housing efforts. Right? Right? So it's not Biden's fault, it's the Congress's fault. They need to do whatever Biden says, which is crazy, to get rid of single-family zoning. Experts say the federal government needs to be much more aggressive in rewarding and punishing state and local governments. Can you believe that? What do you think? What do you think? I mean, it just blows me away. The idea that, I mean, there's like that to me is a half-hearted effort to fix unaffordable housing in the United States. I mean, if you just look, okay, just look at median income, okay, and the median affordable house or median home price in the United States, okay, and then tell me that's going to get fixed by these policies. It's a joke. It's a joke. So I'm sorry. I've had buzzing. I've had alerts going off. My phone hasn't rung, but man, I think the bird upstairs is going crazy. So I appreciate you sticking with me through this one. Let me know what you think. I don't mean to be harsh. I don't mean to be harsh on the administration or anything like that. Let's be a little bit close to realistic on that. If you think fixing zoning and giving somebody a few tax credits is going to fix the supply of housing in the United States, or increasing Section 8 vouchers, it's just crazy. But what do you think? Maybe I read it wrong. Maybe I have problems with reading comprehension. I don't know. Put your response in the comment section, and maybe we'll read some of the best ones down the road. With that, I'm going to head on out. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one.